Hey, true conceivers. Welcome to the Heroic Origins podcast. I'm Dave.
And I'm Terrence, and we're just two comic book nerds doing what we love to do.
Make
up
new superheroes.
We're going to take some random words and pictures and
then riff off of them until we come up with a fully fleshed out superhero. We're doing something a little bit special today. We're still going to do our full brainstorming process, but we're not starting completely from scratch like we normally do. The last episode, if you caught that, we had come up with this character that we have on screen. Terrence, do you want to...
Under Uncle, our super spy member of a clandestine team of, I guess, elemental agents that are, fighting?
Let's back up a little bit here. He is part of a clandestine pro-environmentalist special ops unit that is run by the mysterious Greta. But he's in his civilian guise. He is actually a representative, an ambassador, in fact,
for
the mole people, the underground mole people, which is he's in touch with. There's a liaison. There's a liaison with the UN for the UN Department of Hidden Societies, yes. And so he is the representative of this underground society.
But he's part of a group of three other. He's part of a. There are three. There are two others in this secret group that he's part of.
That's right.
And today's episode, we are going to find out who his next member is.
That's right. So, but we're still going to put some random elements in there. But the key, though, is that what we know is that this is a group of elementals, earth, air, and fire. Wait, earth, air, fire, water. Oh, so there's actually three to choose from.
Fire? Do we have a fire?
We don't have a fire.
We don't have a fire.
There's earth, air, fire, and water. So this is the earth. This is our
Earth representative. Earth, air, and water. So maybe we'll make a fire. Maybe there'll be a fourth one. Who knows?
Yeah, we need to do. I think it makes sense that we would do, right?
maybe the fire isn't part of their group because fire just wants to destroy everything. Maybe that's not why they're.
That's so cliche. I'd say
maybe fire isn't part of the UN.
That is prejudice. Fire actually also allows us to cook food. It allows us to make steam engines go. This is, fire is a very useful thing. It is not all about destruction. Thank you very much.
Okay. I'm just saying, they could be an outlier and not part of the UN.
They could be, but again, that would be so cliche. I think we should make it plasma is the outlier.
Well, what if fire, because honestly, they are very anti-humans and surface dwellers so far. Fire could be the hero and the champion of the humans.
Okay, we're getting ahead of ourselves.
Yes, we are.
Okay, so we're going to do what we usually do is we've given ourselves a time limit, a 140-minute regulation brainstorming period.
And if we still haven't finished our hero by then, we'll move to a lightning round with 2 additional minutes per character element and 1 5-minute revision period.
And you're probably wondering, when we say character element, what are we talking about? This is our all the way up here. This is our little outline that we have to fill in. So you'll see that we want to fill all of those things.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, now get ready because it's collaborating time. Okay, so we need to actually get our random elements here. So let's do, before we actually start the timer, we're going to get our random elements worked out. So the first thing we want to do is get a random word. And we're going to be using randomwordgenerator.com. So shout out to them. Here we go. We've got jackstaff, short staff at ship's bow from which the jack is hoisted. Is jackstaff not like a perfect superhero name?
It actually is.
Necrolog. That's actually pretty good. That sounds like a book, like I must find the necrolog, Yeah.
Like
an obituary. These are all okay. So 2 for 2 on superhero related things. Is it unifarious or
Unif-
unifarious?
yeah.
Arranged in a single row or series. Must be unifarious then.
Hmm.
Arranged in a single row. But I like that. It's like he's not nefarious. He's
Unif-
unifarious. Smectic, purifying, cleansing.
Opposite of what I would think that would be.
Well, it has the same root word as schmegma.
Yeah, that's where I'm like, smectic sounds like you.
Okay. And then diacritic, making a distinction, aiding a diagnosis or evaluation. So, I guess one thing we forgot to do is decide, is this going to be air, water, or fire?
Well, I thought that we were figuring out that, it will be one of those and just what our random words led us to. And
I see. That's how you wanted to do it. Okay.
Yeah. And
Well, which of these words?
I think our first word seems to go straight to a short staff at a ship's bow from which the jack is hoisted.
Okay.
It's a ship. It's water. That seems to flow right there.
Okay, that's interesting.
Or we could continue. We could
No. I like.
Do you want to do like a couple and then decide, or
no? Jackstaff's great. Let's do it.
Okay, because it's a great name too.
Exactly. Jackstaff. Okay. Then we got to do a random fact or a headline. Would you rather do a fact or a headline?
Let's see about a fact.
Okay. What the hell? No, it's taking us to ads and shit. Okay. Random list, random questions, random facts. Here we go. And we want 5 random facts. Okay, German chocolate cake has nothing to do with Germany. It was named after English American Samuel German, who developed this formulation of dark baking chocolate that came to be used in the cake recipe. Interesting.
In 1919, a wave of molasses rushed through the streets of Boston, killing 21 people and injuring 150.
Molasses is liquid. That's something we have: earth, air, fire, water, but it could also be solid, liquid,
true,
air, gas.
And it was a wave.
Okay, because there are more molecules of air in one breath than there are breaths in the atmosphere. Every breath you take likely contains at least one molecule of Newton's last breath. That's actually really random.
That's interesting. Huh. If the sun dies,
it's just Newton. I assume they mean Isaac Newton, but there's also other types of Newton. There are
every other Newton too.
It could be a Fig Newton. It could be one, probably a molecule of Fig Newton too.
So, okay, next. If the sun dies, it'll take about 8 minutes before we realize it has.
Okay. And then firefighters sometimes use wetting agents to make water wetter.
Huh. What does that even mean? How do you make water wetter?
Well, maybe it's a viscosity thing.
I kind of want to understand what that is. Like, what is wetter water?
Well, what's a wetting agent, I think, is the question.
Yeah.
Wetting agent. Wetting agent, chemical substance that increases the spreading and penetrating properties of a liquid by lowering its surface tension. That is the tendency of its molecules to adhere to each other. So, it makes it spread out easier. It's more splattery.
So does it so it reduces water's, I guess you're saying
viscosity.
Yeah. Interesting.
Well, I'm going to have to say that my 2 favorite ones here are the molasses one and the wetting agent one.
Yeah.
The wetting agent would be his official title. Does that where the people, it's like, I didn't wet my bed. It was a wetting agent came in and did it for me.
Oh, that's like his snide little secret. He plants little bedwetting.
We could do a combo though, actually, because molasses is in fact, Why don't I say that we could use both of these because it
That's,
could be
yeah.
that this person controls the viscosity of liquids.
Yeah, because I mean, between I don't know, a wave of molasses. My first thought is like, it's everyone talks about slow as molasses, and so it's like a wave of molasses, like ah,
I remember actually when I
ah.
saw this the first time I saw this little thing, I remember looking it up and being like, "Ooh, that sounds horrible," because it was like a factory that had been building molasses, and it just it the holding thing broke, and it really was like this huge tsunami of molasses that started flowing through the city, and it was devastating.
Molasses. That's crazy. Yeah,
I mean, it's not like it doesn't mean you can't necessarily outwalk it or something, but I mean, it's like lava. It's like
yeah,
it's like lava may creep towards you, but once it gets there, it's
yeah. Once it gets there, it's horrible. Yeah.
okay. So let's find a random image. Random image.
Man, there's so many random things here.
Yeah, yeah.
We should do a random motivational quote at some point.
Random picture. Here we go. Okay, let's just pick 5. Oh, this is interesting. People trying to stretch their toes.
Okay, okay.
We got a little. Oh, that's a very picturesque scene there by Green Mountain. Oh, hey, what's this?
Faucet
It's
in the
water.
middle.
A spigot in the middle. A spigot in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah,
And this is obviously AI generated.
yeah.
And this is interesting. What is that? It's a 3 ball from a pool ball
Okay.
mixed in with pebbles, I guess, or rocks, I guess.
Mhm.
But they look like wet rocks.
Yeah.
And we got this guy smoking.
Well, it looks like
On a
he's just in
pier?
the cold.
Oh, that's what it is. Okay.
Yeah, it looks like he's like meditating on the pier or something. Yeah.
I don't know. Any of these look interesting to you? Should we do more?
Let's do more. I'm not real drawn to any of them.
Oh, there we go. The
That's
moon going to the basketball. Yeah.
Rain.
Rain. Yeah.
Rain.
And that's an umbrella.
Umbrella.
And this is some
Scorpion.
scorpions under a leaf.
Under a
Yay.
leaf.
Oh, poor fox.
I think he's diving.
Hey, muddy shoes.
But that snow, which if you're thinking of water, that's
Well, there's actually a lot of water related. I mean, because this is like
Yeah.
a rain shelter, perhaps. This is
Yes.
water here. There's no water in that one, so because clearly we're veering towards doing our water or liquid based hero. I don't know, mud.
Well, you've got mud, you've got snow, you've got rain. I mean, there's.
Pick one.
I don't know. So far, we've got molasses and the wetting agent.
Wedding agent. So, well, I mean, then there's
The fox's head in the snow is just kind of funny looking.
to me the mud kind of bridges the it's kind of
Yeah.
molasses like, so it'd
Yeah.
fit the theme.
But I feel like we're making this decision already. So,
Well, we've made the decision of this is
Of
going
the
to add
one,
to the
yeah.
characteristics that we draw
Yeah.
from. So, okay, just pick one. Just give me a.
Can I just say the fox and the?
Sure.
Because I mean that, but thematically, the mud would make more sense.
No, but you can do the fox. Let's do the fox
Okay.
because we'll figure out how it fits in. So, all right.
That's a funny picture.
Whoops, that didn't do it.
Oh,
I think I need to go to the. I have to go actually to the picture to capture it.
okay.
Hey, this is not the fox we were sold.
Yeah. All right, go with the mud.
Well, no, that doesn't make that's not going to make it easier. Come on, is it just one of these here? Is it not showing up because my screen is minimized? What's the deal?
Interesting.
Or maybe they've just gotten rid of hot links for. Let me try it again here. Well, here's a fox with snow. Hold on. I know what to do. Fox, snow. Will that get us the image that we're supposed to have? This is all going to be edited out.
Oh, Arctic fox.
I don't know. Any of these fit the bill? I mean, they don't have the head stuck in snow. Let me put that in there. Fox head in snow. No, that didn't help.
Snow dive. I think it was called something like diving.
Did I really not just capture it from here?
When you got the link, it was something like
Copy image. Here we go. Let's try it. I think I didn't do it right. There we go.
There you go.
Problem solved. Okay. So, no, that's not what we want. No, that's not how we want it. Hold on. Oh, no, I had it right the first time. Wine. I suck. There we go. Okay, great.
All right.
We got that done. Now it's time for us to get back to the brainstorm. We are going to have our 40 minutes brainstorming period. So let's start the clock.
Let's start our clock. Do you want to show the clock?
Let's show the clock. This is the clock we are going to be using, but we will not have it actually on screen. We're going to have the outline on screen, or maybe we will. I don't know.
Oh,
So,
well, anyway. Here it goes. The clock is starting.
The countdown has begun. All right, back to the outline. So, okay, we've got Jack Staff.
So what
doesn't sound very watery.
What is the Jack Staff again?
Well, do we want to look? It's a short staff at ship's bow from which the jack is hoisted. There.
Oh, you know what? I just looked up Jack Staff. Jack Staff is a British superhero.
well, we don't have to use the name.
Yeah, well, it's Jack space staff, but a Jack Staff. That's funny. He's like
a staff of jacks. Well, but the point is that that's really just leading us to the bow. The bow. Sorry, the bow.
Yeah, I was just trying to find out exactly what it is. It's part of the small vertical pole on the bow of a ship or smaller vessel. So it's at the front of on which a particular type of flag known as a jack is flown. So it's what they fly that. So it's like the foremost part of the boat that represents so that's like he's the vanguard of their fleet in a way.
Well, which makes sense because he's the ambassador. He's the representative. So there we go.
That's a perfect name. Yeah.
But we can't call him Jack Staff because there's already a superhero called Jack Staff.
Well, that's Jack Space Staff. This is Jack Staff. The Jack Staff. That could be his title. Jack Staff.
Well, I buy that. His title. He's Jack, but then it's like he's Jack Staff Johnson or something.
Yeah.
Or Jack Staff.
Oh, well, I like Jack Staff as a name.
Okay, we'll just call him Jack Staff. Okay, Jack Staff. It's one word.
Maybe that's where they got the name from when they named the staff. I mean, nobody.
Yeah. Okay. No, that's cool. Because I mean that implies that these water beings were once seafaring boat using they used to use boats. So is it this means this implies to me? I mean, if they're still using landlubber terms, that this might be like a race that evolved from humans that they kind of maybe they got cursed to become water beings or something.
But see, I have the opposite thought that humans named the thing that holds the flag after the guy who would lead the water beings into battle holding their own flag. The guy that would come out with the flag, was the Jack Staff. And so therefore...
But it sounds nothing like... It doesn't sound to me like it has anything to do with water, though. To me, it sounds like a landlubber word. Because staff is... Obviously, staff is... something that
is a stick, right? In essence.
And a jack is a hook, right?
Well, I think they were talking about jack as in Union Jack. That's where they...
that's what they mean. Okay. So, yeah. So, I mean, the origins of it is clearly not from Atlantis or something like that.
A jack is a flag thrown from a short jack staff at the bow of a vessel. So
Anyway, he's a flag bearer. Well, let's just leave it at that.
flag bearer,
But
yes.
I think to me it doesn't. But I'm just trying to say the origin. To me, that leads me to believe that. I mean, it could be that these were humans that became water beings later on. They might have become water elementals, and maybe it's like that. But I mean, if that doesn't appeal to you, that's fine.
What?
To me, it doesn't make any sense that we
No, no.
derived
What
the
if that
term
is it though?
jackstrap from
Yeah,
them.
no. I like that idea. What if they were like like British seamen
Yeah,
like that were the water elementals don't directly interact with anyone. They converted like they just took down ships and converted them into these underwater beings to do their bidding.
yeah, sure. So they're okay. So this is interesting. They are not the water elementals themselves. They are kind of a slave race,
Right, they're the
intermediaries.
intermediaries for
Interesting. Okay, but that would have been something along to. Let's put that under world building here. Um,
No,
so they,
maybe it wasn't even that long ago. Maybe it was like World War I, World War, when back in the early age of like ship sailing, where people would talk about the Kraken and all. There was all these sea creatures taking down our boats, and it was just like, yeah, we're building our own race of subservient beings to interact with these humans who are polluting our seas.
so they're okay. So they're subservient intermediaries. Uh, uh, between them and the surface world. Okay, cool. All right, I think that's interesting because they're. So I guess the question is if they're if Jackstaff is a slave. I mean, is he a slave or does he
Well,
buy into it?
I
Because if it's
mean,
mermaids or something,
not a. I mean, they are, they are
maybe they were
created.
seduced. Sorry,
I
go ahead.
mean, I can imagine that. I was like, are they really a slave if they were created for a purpose that's the intermediary? Like they could have their own lives and all. Like they don't necessarily have to be slaves. They're just not.
What if they were seduced? What if it's like the whole mermaid siren thing?
Yeah, sure. Well, but are these? See, my thought is, these aren't the original people?
They're not,
These
but I
are,
mean that may be how they
yeah. I
that
mean,
may be how they keep them. That's true. It's like
how,
that's
however
true.
they
That was decades or centuries ago or
yeah,
whatever.
it's like however they created this race of underwater beings.
This is just what they know.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
he actually may be. It may be a subject. Maybe slave might be overboard, but like is they just sort of see that there's a class system here, and
right.
they're subservient, but they're representing the. So that's interesting. So they're like it's like well my it's a caste system. They have a
Right,
caste
right.
system.
It's like they represent the ocean, but they are not like we're not the ocean, but we represent the ocean because the ocean, you know.
Okay, so it's got a caste system. There's a caste system. Original people are, and we don't even know are they made of water or are they if they're like mermaids or something or sirens.
Well, I would think that they've been created to be more so that they can go on land and stuff. Like maybe like the water, like maybe the beings are actual water, and they're like, if we go out of the ocean, then we just die. So like we are the ocean. We're drops. Every drop of rain could be another citizen of the ocean. You know,
Okay.
or like that's a lot.
Well,
But
but are they? So if the idea is they seduced him, though, they must have been able at some point to take form that looked like something sexy.
well, maybe that's just they can make sounds and manipulate brainwave patterns or something. That they thought that the dolphin was pretty sexy because we made them think a dolphin was sexy. you know,
I think dolphins are pretty sexy.
you
So,
know.
well, but we just need to decide there. So, do we want them to be creatures made of water, or
I like the originals being water, very water based, like formless, basically,
okay?
and the people now being having a form, like the
Creatures.
the race that they created having a form. Like
so the human water hybrids
yeah.
are
Oh,
humanoid.
just like us, human water hybrids, right?
That's right. That's right. Because we're like 70% water, right? So
they'd have all the powers that we have.
that's right. But so are the human water hybrids, are they water beings or are they human? They just can breathe underwater. They have like adaptations.
Like how much do we want to go with that, I guess?
Because I guess the water creatures could have just moistened them.
They're just all wrinkly.
Made them 90% water or something. But they could have also just, given them the powers to breathe underwater,
The power to breathe. What if they have more, like, what if they can't, like, really, like, shape shift, but they have a fixed form, but, like, it can be fluidish? Like, it can...
Ooh, let's go back to our viscosity thing. They're like how the vision can kind of turn between super solid and immaterial. So maybe they're like that, but the watery version of it. They can turn super viscous, or they can become really runny.
Yeah.
So they're water beings, and so they can become viscous enough that they kind of look like they're solid, like they're human, but they're actually, if you get to touch them, they're like, ew.
Well,
ew, they're kind of sticky and stuff.
Oh, so you're saying they never get to a full human?
They never get fully human. They're like they turn into like most they can turn into is, well, but like glass is technically a liquid, right?
Yeah.
So it could be like that. They become just like a super viscous liquid, but they're not.
So they don't leave a stain everywhere they go.
I don't know. I like the idea of them being able to leaving a stain everywhere they go. But I mean, if they turn into glass, that's kind of interesting. So their most solid form would maybe be glass.
Okay.
But then they can do chunkier forms they'll be like caramel, or molasses,
Yeah. So they can be sticky. They can be.
Yeah. I mean, they can be chocolate. I mean, it's like that sort of thing. You can have a chocolate bunny. Why not have one of these guys? But that would mean that if they get exposed to heat or something, then they're.
I was going to say, does their temperature change with that? Because can they turn to like ice? Like when they're solid, are they just inherently colder? And when they're warm, when they're liquid, are they inherently hotter? You
mean sexier?
Sexier.
Well, I mean, are they? Would they be? I mean, are these weaknesses? I mean, how much is? I don't know. They can control the viscosity, so that implies that they can adjust themselves to the. Well, I don't know, because viscosity is not always about heat. It does get affected by heat.
But I was thinking that we do have the snow picture. That's where I was thinking with the temperature.
I know. I'm just trying to. So, anyway, let's go up to powers here. We're talking about. Okay, but this is the I guess the appearance here is they're kind of, well, civilian appearance, they kind of do their glassy form, right?
Right.
Okay, glassy form, solid, smooth. I don't know. That doesn't have to be, glass doesn't have to be smooth, but I mean,
actually, it'd be cool if they looked like whatever that is, the drift sea glass. Sea glass is actually a pretty cool name too.
I actually like that better than Jackstaff.
What if their name is Jackstaff Sea Glass? Their civilian name could be Sea Glass or something. I don't know. Well, Sea Glass is a cool name. I like
more like that does sound like Shauna Sea Glass or something or something. That sounds like the last name. You're right. It does kind of sound, okay, but the glassy form, solid, smooth. I don't know what sea glass looks like. I guess I should look that up. Right?
It's normally it's like the green or blue glass or clear glass, but it gets it's like frosted kind of. Huh. Yeah, it's pretty.
Oh yeah.
Because it's
they look like little pebbles.
Yeah, no, but if they were like if they looked like or they what if they
is it literally glass?
Yeah, it's literally glass. That's just been, buffeted around in the ocean. So
I like that. I like that. So glassy form. So it'd be kind of a colorful glassy form.
Yeah, I mean, but yes, sea glassy kind of looking.
Sea,
So
okay, sea glassy form. Solid, smooth. Wait. So this, but those are all pebble like things. Is he like a pebbly?
well,
Is
I was thinking that was just their general skin tone, but
okay.
like they would be one solid piece of it. But
Yeah,
like
okay.
silver.
No, I think it makes sense to be one solid piece
Yeah,
because they're controlling the viscosity. So
yeah,
but a power is viscosity control.
yeah.
Is it just self control?
Well, that's what I was going to say. Is like, do they have other control over other like? Well, they probably have some movement abilities in the water, right? And
Well, I think okay. I think because I like the idea that it could touch glass and just melt it, right? So like if
oh,
you
like control over other liquids.
yeah,
Yeah.
like maybe on touch it could yeah. So like if it's swimming, maybe it can make it. Swimming actually it'd probably be worse to make it more. I mean, less viscous. You'd probably want it to be more viscous because then you could get more thrust or whatever.
But probably can propel themselves through like in a different way where it's basically they're controlling the viscosity
Oh, that's a good
to
point. Yeah.
jet themselves through like in a
Well,
way.
it'd be like sliding downhill or something. Make it
Yeah,
slipperier. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
So hyper swimming is
yeah.
basically swimming.
But then taking that, it's like, is that them combining their own body with the liquids around them? Like, so then are they really controlling the liquid or are they controlling their method of functioning in the liquid?
Um, I like the idea that it's a power stunt. That they're basically that the. I like the idea that the stuff they touch, they can control the viscosity of what they're touching. So,
Okay,
like if it's glass, they can turn it to liquid,
okay,
without heat, right? And
right,
if they're in
okay,
the water, they can control the viscosity of what they're touching in such a way that like whatever's behind them is more viscous, whatever's in front of them is less viscous. So they're but it's still what they're touching. I feel like
right,
I like the limitation of it being something they're touching, right?
okay.
So I'm gonna actually put that under weakness. Only controls viscosity of things he touches. Assuming it's a he. It's a jackstaff. It's a he, I suppose.
Oh,
Uh,
see, the sea glass made me think it was a she.
well, that's the thing. It depends on the name we choose. So, well, we can fix that later.
but
Um,
But okay, but that made me think of what they touch. So if you hit them with like if they splatter, like can they splatter, or are they dead? Have they lost parts? Can they reform themselves from being,
I mean, like
or if they're
is it
shattered?
like the Terminator 2?
Yeah. Oh, exactly. That's a perfect example. Can they be shattered and then they're
Well,
just
we haven't decided if this person's a water being or not.
well, I thought that we were kind of like they are a fixed form, like a mount. So
Oh
they
no, we decided they were sort of they would make themselves solid. You're
more
right.
solid.
You're right. You're right. So that's a good
Right.
question. Yeah, I mean,
I mean, do they have a
I'm
core
kind
that?
of thinking that I'm kind of thinking if they're completely splattered, no, they're dead. But
Okay.
if somebody like I could see somebody like shooting at them when they're in molasses form and like just their arm gets splattered, then they can go just like with water or liquids, you can go and dab it up,
Okay. Okay.
you know. So I
So
mean, they could be brought. So I mean, maybe they are kind of. I don't know that they have the ability to self. I don't know if this character has the ability to self reform. I
yeah.
guess is what I'm saying.
So
But
to a
but
degree.
if somebody sponges it up and puts it back together, maybe it does. That sort of thing.
Well, if some like if hmm.
Like another character would have to recollect the splatters to bring them together.
Okay, so well, I'm thinking like okay, if you blow apart like their arm and they go around like and they can reattach.
Yeah.
But if their head is blown, well, I mean, is their head really their head? I guess in that too. Like, is that where their brain is? That most likely not. Like
Well, but if I think
their
again, if like
central
you blow up the entire body, it can't put itself back together.
right, if the
I think
entire
that's
body
the
is
thing.
blown apart. They can't put it back together.
But
If
it does
part of
have
their
sort of
body they can reform. If they can go get it, they can put it back and recollect that.
so it has water memory
That's a good way.
slash immortality. Okay. It may not be immortal per se, but
not immortality, I wouldn't say, but healing,
water memory.
self repair
I think water
almost.
memory. It's water memory.
Well, water memory.
That's what I'm going to call it.
Okay, I mean that's a good way to think of it.
Yeah. So it remembers itself, so it can be put back together.
Yeah, yeah. What is it? That just made me think of. I don't know. I remember water has a high absolute temperature or whatever, or it wants to stay the temperature that it is. So it's like it does remember.
That's yeah. Well, that may be what the literal term of that means. So okay, well, this is coming along here. So
right.
okay, so we've determined the kind of the background of his species.
Right.
What's his or her their personal backstory? Is it are they just? I mean, if they're the ambassador, then how did they become the ambassador? Did they have to fight a battle, or did they?
Yeah, this is the question: is where do these beings live? Where they?
These are consorts. They were seduced. This is a class of consorts for the water beings because they seduced the people, right? That's the relationship they have with this whole cast. Is their kind of
Oh, I was thinking they were very much like, the solid beings are beneath us. Like these would be, so these were like these are the things that deal with those that they would
it is
consorts. Like,
well, it is, but it's like it's a stratification. Like it would be sort of like you had men are above women, but women represent they're at the back in the 50s or something, like women would go to the PTA, so they would be the representatives at the PTA. And that would be their domain, and sort of, so you have a cast there, but there's still the relationship they have is kind of like they're kind of a romantic relationship, in a sense, maybe, maybe not.
I know I'm not real fond of that, but
okay, that's fine.
If you really like it, but I was like,
no. If it totally doesn't seem right, then we'll do something. But I thought that was it would be a commentary a little bit on like old, social stratification, between, the sexism.
Yeah, no, I see. Yeah, there could be some stories there in that.
But I'm just saying, it's like if we were to build off the whole idea that these were originally humans that were seduced into their culture, right, then maybe it's maintained through. I mean, it could have just they seduced them once and then they just treat them like assholes,
Well, I mean, I just think that they just had that they seduced them to create, because it's kind of like, I mean, it's like the clones, right? Like in Star Wars, like
I get that. I'm just saying that it might be more interesting to say that they maintain this stratification through, like because the idea is you don't want the slaves to feel like they're slaves, right?
Right.
Right. So if you
but they aren't slaves. That's where I was going. Was that
they're subservient.
They're subservient in the fact that they are just singular beings that are neither human or they're a small group of whatevers that are in between these worlds.
But I'm just saying that if the original way that they subdued them was through seduction, maybe that's how they maintain that relationship with this cast throughout, that they're kind of love toys. They're seen as like kind of tardy love things or whatever, or the idea is they keep them under control through that kind of desire. Anyway, I'm just saying that's more interesting than saying we tricked you and now we've turned you into these creatures and we control you through the traditional ways.
I guess I was less interested in that aspect of how they got there and more to like, because in my mind I was thinking, okay, so they were however they became. I mean, because when you think of like the prospect of, and really just being the clones, being this race of beings that from the moment they start, they don't have to be tricked. This is just their world. That's what they're here for. This is
the current ones, yes, but I just want to understand, how did they get there, and how does that define?
But no, that works as how they got there. But like, do you need to maintain that in order for them to continue to exist? That seems that's where I'm like, well,
no. I just tell me this: what happened after these humans were seduced and turned into these hybrid?
Well, they were used for whatever experimental tests and things so that they could create these other things. And the ones that created the other things, they didn't need the humans anymore.
So there's no birthing; they're clones, is what you're saying.
Well, I mean, they're whatever water beings blooped up. Like I don't know how they're.
Well, I'm just saying it's like I'm just saying this is an interesting, this is different and interesting to say that they were seduced and they're maintained in this romantic caste system. I'm just saying that's a different way to go.
Okay, yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. If you like
But I mean,
that,
if that's completely uninteresting, I just explain to me exactly.
no, I was just
how they
saying
came
where
to
I
be.
was, and I'm okay with your version of that. That works. That works.
Okay, 'cause, you said that you weren't into that,
I mean,
so
I was just saying what I thought was, just that they wouldn't, because now we have these god beings that have to maintain this. Like, can they fall out of love? Is that a whole thing? Like, they fall in love with a earther? Is that a whole thing? Like, are
well,
they vying for their affections? Are they
yeah.
genetically predisposed to
Hey, you
already?
know what? We're doing this. This won't get released on Valentine's Day, but
Oh
this
yeah,
is
yeah.
well,
This is
it's like Valentine's Day is like a week away, right?
yeah,
So this is, I like the idea. I just like the idea of a culture that's built around sort of romance or a romantic caste system. It's weird, and you're right. It does create like this different drama, but I think leaning into that is interesting to me.
okay.
But if it's totally a turnoff to you, then let's not do
Well,
it.
no, I was saying, yeah, it's like we can go there. That's a different thing than what I was thinking, though. But yeah, we can go there.
But you were just thinking that they were clones and
Yeah. I still find the clone story fascinating, but the romantic clones is good too. I guess the subservient romantic race could get really weird.
well, it doesn't have to be that weird. I mean, we don't have to get, but I mean, I think the idea that they've just have, I mean, to me that creates because I'm thinking of like the Inhumans. They
Right,
have like a really weird caste system there because they've got the alpha primitives who are their slaves, but these guys are and the royal family, right?
right,
And they're supposed to be the good guys. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah, yeah,
it doesn't really make much sense the way
yeah.
that's why are we rooting for these people because they've got a horrible situation there, but it creates interesting drama in their society. um, but I don't know. No, I mean, I don't want to do something that you think might be
No,
offensive or
we're on
something.
board. We're on board. Go for it.
Okay, so this is so I mean, it basically just means it's sort of like when this ambassador talks about the water civilization, he talks about it in wistful, loving, romantic terms. It's sort of like
Okay,
just like a sailor would talk about the ocean, you know,
right, right.
so like in a poetic type of thing. Um, so this guy is so this guy's literally married to the sea, is what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah, I was gonna say, but is it a guy? You keep saying guy, and I keep thinking girl. So
Well, but okay, whatever. I should be saying they is what I should be doing.
I'm very much feeling that it's a woman or
Okay, but
female.
you still
Or
want to
then,
call you still want to call her Jackstaff?
well, I like sea glass more. That's
Okay, well let's get rid of Jackstaff.
okay.
It's going to be like,
But she's the flag bearer, so she is.
is it like Cheryl Seaglass or what are we doing?
Her title could still be Jack Staff, you know. So then you wouldn't have to get rid of it, and it would still be drawing off of that.
Jackstaff Seaglass. I don't know that.
Well, no, and her
I feel
title, like her civilian title for in the UN, where you've got Uncle, whatever. I don't forget what his name was, but Uncle was the title.
the under uncle. Uncle,
But
yeah.
but Uncle
Uncle
was an
was the
actual
title. It's
title.
true, yeah.
So
So
like we could use Jack Staff as a title in their.
okay, back
They have
to
nautical terms like that.
Jackstaff. Jackstaff / ambassador. Ambassador to the surface world. Okay.
Yeah.
To
Yeah.
the UN. Yeah. Um, okay. But Sea Glass is the heroic name, or is that the full name?
Um, well, we've got to delve into what this culture is a little. Like, how do you become the ambassador? And you're right. What is the pecking order, especially when, of the sea? Is the sea like a multitude of like council of droplets or whatever?
Oh yeah, yeah,
Or
yeah.
does it function as one giant hive, like the entire ocean is one hive mind?
Interesting. Yeah. Is it a hive mind?
Like, is it
Well,
just one entity that is, or is it a billion entities that, and how is this race of, I don't even know what we're calling them. How are they birthed? Where are they? Do they have a gender? Like that's the, I would think they would have a gender to interact with humanity. Like they would have given them something like that, but just to,
Well, here's a question here because with our mole people, there were multiple underground cultures. Are there
Mhm.
multiple water cultures?
I like the idea that there are not, that it's just the
It's
ocean. Like,
just the ocean. Just the
yeah,
ocean
and
itself
that,
is sentient, and this
yeah,
is how they communicate with humans.
right.
Okay, so well, and then I guess it's kind of like if it's a hive mind, it's not like we tend to have like when we think, we're
Mhm.
one mind, but we have conflicts in our brain all the time.
Right, right.
So it could be like a giant brain, but it is still,
Like
a
inside
very
out.
neurotic. Could be a very neurotic, one-minded creature, right?
Right, right.
So that it's constantly shifting. It could be moody. I mean, that's the thing. It
Well,
could
it
be a
is the
very
ocean.
moody.
Yeah. It's
Um, well, that's the thing is
sometimes it's
our
raging and sometimes it's calm.
well the and so our so sea glass or our human water hybrids, they're always basically trying to win favor from this very temperamental creature. This
Where do they live? I mean, obviously they're in the ocean somewhere, but like, are they like in the Arctic, or are they in the like
the
Bermuda
human
Triangle, or like
well,
is
if
it?
it's just the ocean, it's everywhere, right? So they can go
But,
anywhere they want.
well, but where are like? But okay, I'm just thinking of where do the sea glass type creatures live? Like where do they
Well,
come?
they're not always sea glass.
Do
They only
they
become sea glass
right?
for
But
human interaction, but
where
they're
do they?
otherwise they're water themselves. So they would just roam around the ocean.
So they're just like in whatever. What, it's not a jet stream. What is it called when it's in the water? So they're just part of
The
the current.
cream, the cream.
So there's part of the current. So okay, okay.
Well, they can swim around and stuff.
Well, yeah, but I mean, just where they. I'm just thinking of like where they habitate. So
Anywhere.
okay,
That's what is it? That's three-fourths of the Earth is water.
I
So I
think
mean, they
it's
can be anywhere, but they probably stay close to wherever their assignment is. I mean, their whole purpose. Actually, this is the thing. Their whole purpose is to communicate with the human world. So
right.
maybe they live near the coast.
Well, I'm like, do they have like because the ocean is the ocean, and I was thinking that maybe they had like a little city, and like how many of them are there? Are there like millions of them? Because I wouldn't think there would be millions of them. I would think there'd just be like, you know, that it's a very small because they're just a manufactured species, really. So you wouldn't need a whole lot of them to communicate with humanity, unless you were building an army to take over or something.
Well, I don't know. I mean, it
Or
seems like
what is your
you'd want to have one for every language at least. So I mean, that's hundreds, right?
yeah? So I mean, but that's the thing. It's like, do you have hundreds? Do you have thousands? Do you have a million?
I mean, well, why don't we just say for every coastal country, there's at least one. But I mean,
Okay.
if they're taking boats down, I mean, they're going to have more than that, right?
Well, that was just when they started. Remember, that was the origin of the
Well, sure,
species.
but I mean, that's how they developed too. I'm presuming that the way, I mean,
So do they
they
continue
they
to?
must be maintained. I mean, how did they learn the languages? I'm presuming from the people they originally captured.
Well, I mean, now they have people to go do that for them. Like they, like they have their sea glass people that they go send to learn whatever, because that's not the ocean's job. The ocean rages. The you know these are the people that have to deal with that. The ocean doesn't care.
Um,
That's all I think of. Like, if you're just the ocean, you don't care. You're the ocean. The world is yours to begin with. All these other races do whatever. I'm the ocean. What are you going to do about it? You can't move me. You can't beat.
um,
I destroy mountains for a living. I'm the
well, I'm
ocean.
just, uh, yeah. Anyway, I think they've got to at least have one for each culture.
Okay.
So, however many cultures there
Well,
are,
why don't we say
coastal
like
cultures.
why don't we say like two for each culture? Just in
Also,
case.
here's a question: are these just saltwater creatures? Because I think that would be an interesting limitation is that um, freshwater may be a weakness in some way, but maybe not.
Yeah,
I
I was
mean,
gonna say, but how? I mean, they can control the viscosity of things. Would it matter if they're saltwater or freshwater?
yeah, I guess because it wouldn't be salt water just because it's yeah. So I mean, it's glass, salt water, or fresh water.
Yeah,
What the hell is
yeah,
that? It's not, and it's not water.
yeah.
It's a
Not
different
even
type of
water.
liquid, right? So yeah, okay.
Oh,
Let's
actually,
not do
well,
that.
then in that sense, can they control the viscosity of solid? Like,
Well, rock is not liquid in any way, shape, or form. So
but
it's not
what about metals? Like those,
metals. Yeah, maybe metals. Yeah,
they can liquidate. Like, can they liquidate a metal without like not
maybe.
heating it, but just liquidate it?
Well, let's see here.
I mean, it's not really.
Metal liquid? That's
I
the
mean,
question.
it's the thing that technically, I mean, lava is liquid rock. So if you can liquidate anything,
Um, I think that's an interesting question that I think we should do research on. Let's move on a little bit. I'll put that down there as can they melt metal? Because I don't know if just because something can melt, I don't know if that technically is a liquid. Whereas like glass is always
yeah,
technically,
yeah, glass is
whereas
always.
metal, I don't know that it's. I don't know if it is. I mean, but anyway, we can look into that. Okay, we're running out of time too, and like
All
I
right.
said, I have to get out of here.
Oh, that's right. All right. So,
More
all
or
right.
less on
So
time
let's
today.
speed up the pace. So, all right. So, skills, equipment, appearance. We already did appearance. We know they look like sea glass. Like,
Okay, yeah,
oh,
there's
the
heroic.
heroic
I
appearance.
guess that's going to be the same for heroic and civilian.
I guess
Uh,
heroic. They could reform themselves any way they. Well, not anyway, but a little bit. So they can be. Yeah, it's
well,
pretty
they
much the same.
various,
Yeah.
various. Okay, uh, any special skills or? I mean, there could be navigation. Well, I mean, it's.
Skills. They might have actually. That would make sense for them to have some navigation skills. Some like
But I feel like you're going to get that with if you just can sense the ocean currents or something.
like I mean, maybe it's beyond that. Like,
I would think they would have an environmental awareness type of power, don't you?
what do you mean?
Like if they're in the water, they can feel the heat of the currents. They can kind of get an idea of where
Okay, I can.
sort of
So
like
just
storm
they know.
understands the weather. They understand the water.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I was thinking more like the GPS that like some animals have when they're that they're connected to the magnetic fields.
Oh, the magnetic fields. Oh, well, I don't know. What do you? I mean, that basically is kind of an environmental awareness type of thing.
Yeah. So I mean, you want it? We could give them both. They're a little bit of both, so that they because like yeah, because the ocean and all that is affected by everything. So like, that's what makes the currents and all that, right?
Okay. So, and you're saying they also have GPS, internal GPS?
Yeah, just like a yeah.
Okay. Okay. Skills or equipment? I don't think they have any equipment.
No, I wouldn't think any equipment either. No.
I don't know that they would. The skills would just be like but you don't think they've learned anything from the original capture. They've all learned it from going to land later on.
Yeah, I mean, I would think that they were. I mean, I just think of them as a created, like basically like they're clones. They just were created for a purpose, and so
Okay.
their skills are communicating with humans. Like if you want to like diplomacy, perhaps, and
Okay.
that
Diplomacy. That would make sense.
they.
They're diplomats, right? Okay. Let's go to psychology here. So, I mean, are
Would you want to say?
they want to save the environment. That's part of it. But the civilian, it may not be, they may or may not be about undermining human laws. I don't know.
Right. Well, I mean, they're for
Oh, the
cleaning the
civilian
ocean.
is is trying to gain favor from the ocean,
Okay.
trying to gain the ocean's favor. Okay. But the heroic one is what?
Like cleaning the ocean, protecting sea life. I mean, how does the ocean feel about the rest of the life in the ocean? Like, are those just pets and other subservient life forms that are in it? Like,
What do we think about like bacteria in our stomachs? It's
Well, that's the thing. Is it, you know,
well,
but
it wants a good stomach biome
we're
basically.
under 2 minutes. Do you want to know the time?
Oh, okay, that's good. No, I think it's like it's trying to maintain a good uh, bacterial biome like what we're trying to
But
keep from getting an upset stomach is what
but
it
do
was.
any of those? I guess yeah, those different things do. You can't have one override the other. You need things to eat the algae, and you need. Yeah. So okay. So
No, so it's about maintaining a balance, a C balance, maintaining a balanced uh, sea life. Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Cleaning the ocean, maintaining a balanced sea life. Okay. I actually think we're done with this character.
Did we
Um,
really?
there's civilian name is Sea Glass. Well, the name is what we're. I don't think we've. I guess we don't have a full biography here.
Yeah.
Like the heroic origin, Jack. I guess we got to figure out the person. We've talked a lot about the species, but not the
Yes.
individual
The
character.
individual character.
So we need to figure out the name and the biography. Um, it's ambassador to the UN for the water culture, for the ocean, really, just the
For the
ocean.
ocean. Yes.
I like that it's just the ocean. But I guess the question is, how did this particular one get that? If there's a romantic culture, it must have been more beautiful than any other. There must have been some sort of.
20 seconds.
We've got our makeups, but
Do you want to put the timer up? It's ending.
oh boy. Okay. Well, let's go to our 2-minute. It's time for.
Lightning rounds.
Okay. So you want to back it up to 2 minutes, and we'll do that for. Let's go into. Would you want to talk name, or do you want to talk about heroic origin or biography?
I guess let's start with the origin because, naming, it's kind of going to come from once we figure that out.
Yeah.
I can't get it exactly at 2, so we have 1:59.
Okay.
Shaving off a whole second there.
All right. Start the clock.
Here we go.
So, so they've got a romantic kind of culture going on here, and that's how the caste system's maintained. So I'm presuming they're all the clones are born wanting to please the ocean. So I'm imagining kind of in a old mythological way that this particular clone somehow performed some sort of feat that gained the prime favor of the ocean, right?
Okay.
So, like, what's an example of something that would really impress the ocean, I guess is the question.
Maybe they're the ones that did the molasses flood in Boston in 1919.
Well, I'm thinking, like, is it like swimming to the bottom of the Marianas Trench or
well, is that something that's impossible for them? I mean, that's where I was like, yeah, if they live everywhere in the ocean, they're just like the ocean, right?
They're underwater volcanoes, they're underwater earthquakes.
What would cause the greatest imbalance that they could improve upon?
Well, maybe
that would be
maybe it's pollution. Maybe it has to do with maybe it was like sinking some sort of, maybe it was like an oil cleanup or something.
Sounds, yeah, I like that. An oil cleanup. It's like some oil tanker.
So Sea Glass somehow averted an oil spill, either averted or cleaned it up, or what do you think?
I like the idea that they cleaned it up, like they turned it back onto land somehow.
Cleaned up an oil spill and put it back on land. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay, and then gained favor of the ocean.
Something.
Give us another 2 minutes.
Maybe I should pull up the 2-minute timer.
Maybe.
Come on.
I mean, do we want to do? I guess, do we feel like we got the biography there, basically, then?
I mean, I guess it's very
So it's just
simple.
the name.
You
So
know?
just the name, then.
Um,
Okay, so let's hit the
All right.
clock.
Starting the clock.
So sea glass, but I kind of feel like sea glass is, I mean, sea is not a good first name, I don't think.
No, I wouldn't use that as the name. I'm thinking of something.
Marcia.
Marsha.
Like a Marcia.
No.
Marsha.
Why a human? I wouldn't think of necessarily a human name in that sense, or maybe a name that meant
Cerulean.
water in some, like what area of the world? Like
Well, what about the color blue? Cerulean sea glass.
does the water see itself as blue?
Maybe not. It sees the blue sky. Sees the blue sky. But where? Okay, you want to?
Because then it would be naming you after the sky. That's what I'm saying. It would be like it's dark.
So we want to name.
The
Okay,
opposite.
so you're saying after location, like a trench or like a grotto, a
If I'm the ocean, I'm
or
thinking
well,
of
let's see types of body of water.
precipitation, ocean.
There are oceans, ponds. It could be pond, sea glass, glacier, river, sea, canal.
Sea, ocean.
There's ocean, seas, lakes, ponds, wetlands, puddle. It could be puddle, sea glass, pudla, spritz. Could be something like spritz.
Spritz. Squirt.
Yeah.
Waves.
Splashy sea glass.
Depth. Stream. I'm not.
Streamer.
Streamer.
Okay, let's we have okay, I think this is the last thing we got to do. So that means we go to our 5-minute.
All right.
We got to go to the full 5-minute revision period. So this is we'll have to put it under that.
I'll give us an extra 11 seconds.
Yeah, good. Okay, hit the clock.
It's going.
Okay.
I don't know.
What about sea glass? What are some words associated with sea glass?
The sea. I don't know. I want like a foreign sounding name, not a foreign necessarily. I want somebody else's word for water. That's what I want. Like agua.
Okay.
Not
agua.
That's terrible.
Agua sea glass.
Yeah, that's terrible. But you know what I mean. Like
Sure.
But I wanted something more poetic, honestly. I mean, it's like water for.
There's sprinkle, moisten, dampen, wet, spray, splash, soak, douse, souse,
ripple,
ripple,
wave.
ripple sea glass, Ripley, waterlog, hose
Ways to
down.
stay water in all languages. Voda, Von, Vessi, Viz, Usk, Ilma, Appa.
Appa? What was it?
Appa.
Appa? How do you spell
Romanian is APA with a little.
I like that one. I like that one. That's my vote right now.
Appa.
Okay. Yeah, that's my vote.
Romania,
at the moment.
Not known for their beaches, I don't think, but she could have been the ambassador to Romania. How's that? Well, we said one, like two for every country, so.
Well, for every coastal country, I think. Well, but if they have water, then I mean, I don't know. There's Aqua Pura. Her name could be Pura sea glass.
Yeah, Appa. That's how you say it.
So you want to do Appa?
Appa works for me.
Okay, Appa sea glass.
Appa sea glass.
So Appa sea glass is that? Does she have a separate name for her heroic name?
What if? I mean, we could just say sea glass was her heroic name, and her name is just
her. I see. That's good. Well, then we're done.
Yeah, and
Is
I
there anything
mean,
you want
well,
to revise?
are we? Did we settle on like the sex? Like, is it a she? I think she's a
Yeah, we
she.
are. Yeah, it's a she. Yeah.
Okay. So now
So
in my mind she's a sea glass. She's a green glassy Romanian woman. So
let's put that under appearance there.
yeah.
Uh, Romanian woman.
Actually, and that would make sense if they made a gender for like a male and a female. Like they made two for each country, and that's just like. And I'm just curious, how do they replenish their supply? Like if one of them goes missing or gets hurt or what have you, evaporates.
I
Can they
would like the
evaporate?
idea that they actually convert. They actually just capture a new surface dweller. But you want a clone, so I
Yeah,
don't.
I wanted to say that they were created for this purpose. That they weren't. That it's not something that the OSHA has to keep doing. Like they did it.
I think it's more interesting if it's they're doing it. But there are currently 195 recognized countries in the world. So if we have two for each of those, then that's roughly 400
yeah.
or 390 representatives that they would have. So okay,
And they converge in pools to have like their own little underwater UN.
right. That's right. Well, I think we have our character here, Terrence.
Yeah, I like her.
Yeah, Appa
So
sea glass.
still have a minute left, but I'm gonna stop our timer.
Yeah, we're done. Wow, we actually got done before the timer was up. That's amazing.
Yeah, and it's 2:00 now.
All right, perfect here, folks. So that's it for this episode. But we want to hear from you, true conceivers. What did we get right? What did we get wrong? Leave us a comment or email us at heroicpod@gmail.com, and we'll respond to your feedback on upcoming episodes.
Don't forget to show your support, share, subscribe, or just hit that like button. It all helps.
And that's a wrap.
Keep on hero smithing, true conceivers.
We'll see you next time on the Heroic Origins. What will we be doing in a live draw? What are we going to do next time on Heroic?
Next time we'll have a plot cast, right?
Why don't we just say we'll see you next time on Heroic Origins?
Oh wait, why don't we? Okay, I was gonna say why don't we do the next one? Is the third one, so we'll just say we'll do the next character for next time. So
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So we'll see you on the next Heroic Origins. We're gonna create the next character in this clandestine elemental task force.
So we'll see you next time.
Wait, so you do it.
I don't know what I'm doing at this point.
All right, we'll see you next time on Heroic Origins, where we continue to flesh out this clandestine elemental task force. Thop.
Bop.
All right, I'm going to stop recording.
All right.
Oh, hold on. We got to do the outro.